In the final years of World War II, the world faced a threat far more dangerous than anyone realized, a secret weapons program so advanced that if completed on time, it could have changed the outcome of the entire war. This is the hidden story of the race to stop Hitler's superweapons, a desperate struggle that played out in laboratories, bunkers, spy networks, and the skies above Europe. The year is 1943. Europe is burning, cities reduced to rubble, millions displaced. The Allies believe Germany is weakening, but behind concrete walls and barbed wire, in hidden islands and underground tunnels, the Nazi regime is quietly preparing weapons that could turn the war back in their favor. Weapons faster than sound, more accurate than any artillery, and powerful enough to reach entire cities across the Channel. British codebreakers, working in the dark rooms of Bletchley Park, begin intercepting strange German messages. They mention special works, new installations, long-range operations. At first, nobody understands. But then one word appears repeatedly: Wunderwaffe, the superweapon. British intelligence pores over aerial photographs of northern France. They discover enormous concrete structures with thick walls, giant launch ramps, and fuel tanks. But no one knows what the Germans plan to launch. Analysts guess a giant cannon, a new type of aircraft, or something completely unknown. Meanwhile, in a quiet corner of the Baltic Sea lies a small island called, to the locals, it looks like an ordinary research facility. But this place is the heart of Hitler's secret rocket program. Here, engineers and physicists work under a brilliant young scientist named Werner von Braun. He dreams of reaching the moon someday, but for now, he builds weapons for the Nazi regime. Every night the sky lights up with an orange glow. A massive rocket shoots upward, leaving a flaming tail behind it. It reaches the edge of space before crashing into the sea far away. This weapon is known as the A4 rocket, later renamed the V2. It is the world's first ballistic missile. No army in history has ever seen anything like it. Back in London, codebreakers intercept a message about Stage 2 testing. Analysts compare it with aerial photographs and realize the horrifying truth. Germany is developing a missile that can strike London from hundreds of miles away. Worse, the V2 travels faster than the speed of sound, meaning it cannot be heard or intercepted. It would hit its target before anyone even realizes it's coming. Prime Minister Winston Churchill calls an emergency meeting. His voice is grave. We must stop this at all costs. The race has begun. The Allies launch Operation Crossbow, a daring mission to destroy the German missile program before it matures. RAF bombers take off under the cover of night, flying low to avoid radar. Their target, the Research Center. On the night of August 17, 1943, the sky over the island erupts into flames. Bombs drop every few seconds, buildings collapse, laboratories burn, technicians run for their lives. Several German engineers critical to the missile program are killed. The attack is a success, but not a complete victory. The Germans simply move much of the rocket production underground, into massive tunnels carved inside mountains. These factories, known as middlework, are nearly impossible to bomb. While the Allies regroup, the Germans accelerate development of their first superweapon, the V1 flying bomb. It is essentially a small aircraft with a powerful explosive warhead and a pulse jet engine. When launched from special ramps, it buzzes across the sky like a mechanical insect. The British call it the buzz bomb because of its distinctive sound. In June 1944, the Germans launch hundreds of V1s against London. Citizens listen to the buzzing overhead with fear. As long as the engine is running, the bomb is still flying. But when the buzzing stops, everyone goes silent because they know what comes next: the explosion. RAF pilots develop a dangerous technique to defeat the V1. They fly next to the missile and tip its wing with their own. This throws the guidance off, causing the missile to crash harmlessly away from the city. It is incredibly risky. One mistake and both aircraft explode, yet hundreds of pilots volunteer to try. Every V1 diverted saves dozens of lives, but the V1 is only the beginning. In September 1944, the first V2 rocket strikes London. There is no warning, no sound, no defense. A fireball suddenly erupts in a quiet neighborhood. Buildings vaporize, windows shatter miles away, people are terrified. The newspapers don't even know how to report it. Huge explosion cause unknown. British scientists realize they are facing the world's first supersonic missile. It cannot be intercepted, it cannot be tracked, it travels into space before falling at unimaginable speeds. The only way to stop it is at the source before it is launched. So the Allies intensify Operation Crossbow. They target launch sites across France and Belgium. Massive concrete bunkers known as ski sites are bombed relentlessly. Factories, rail lines, fuel depots, everything linked to the missile program becomes a target. Meanwhile, underground resistance networks across Europe begin a new mission. Sabotage, French, Polish, and Dutch resistance fighters infiltrate factories where V2 parts are built. They loosen bolts, they add impurities to fuel, they misalign critical components. Each act of sabotage might delay a rocket by days or even weeks, and those delays save thousands of lives. One worker replaces a vital bearing with a look-alike part made of inferior metal. Another scratches the interior of a combustion chamber so it will crack under heat. A railway worker deliberately forgets to switch a track, causing an entire shipment of rocket parts to be lost. Little acts of defiance, but together they cripple the program. The Allies also deploy psychological warfare after each V2 impact. British newspapers deliberately print false coordinates, suggesting the missiles fell short or overshot their targets. German engineers, believing their guidance is off, adjust calibration. This causes subsequent missiles to mispopulated areas. Slowly, the Germans lose control of their own superweapon. Despite the sabotage, hundreds of V2 rockets still strike London, Antwerp, and other cities, but the numbers are far lower than what the Germans had planned. The rocket program never reaches full production. In early 1945, as the Allies push deeper into Germany, they discover abandoned launch sites, destroyed factories, and half-finished prototypes of even more terrifying weapons, long-range missiles designed to reach New York City. Supersonic aircraft and giant cannons capable of firing into space. Had the war lasted even 6 months longer, the world might have witnessed devastation on a scale never imagined. But it didn't, because thousands of people, soldiers, pilots, engineers, spies, resistance fighters, and ordinary factory workers risked everything to sabotage the program at every stage. Their actions delayed progress just enough. Their courage prevented Hitler's superweapons from ever reaching their full potential. When the war ended, many German scientists, including Wernher von Braun, surrendered to the Americans. Instead of imprisonment, they were quietly brought to the United States under a top-secret program called Operation Paperclip. There, the same scientist who built the V2 rocket for Hitler would later design the Saturn V rocket that carried humans to the moon. History is complicated. Heroes and villains sometimes shift roles, but one truth remains. The world was saved not just by soldiers in trenches, but by unseen hands, codebreakers, spies, saboteurs, pilots, analysts, and workers who believed that even the smallest act of resistance could change the outcome of the war. This was the silent race, a race against time, technology, and terror, a race to stop weapons the world had never seen before, a race in which failure was not an option, and because they succeeded, the world we know today still exists. If you want more deep WW2 documentaries like this, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. History hides many stories, and together we will uncover them.